What's going on YouTube? It's Ben, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about the good recruiter versus the bad recruiter. Alright everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for checking out more of my content. Super appreciate it. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. I was recently talking with a recruiter friend of mine. Surprise, surprise. All of my friends are pretty much recruiters, and she brought up a concept that really resonated with me. Had to do a video about it. There are good recruiters and then there are bad recruiters. And I'll tell you why this is super important. So let's just go over a little bit of what it means to be a good recruiter and a bad recruiter. I mean, there's good eggs and bad eggs in every single business, but specifically in recruiting and staffing, there are particular outcomes that can affect the entire business that you're in and affect the outcomes of your clients as well. And this is major if you don't realize what's actually happening if you're dealing or if you are a bad recruiter or a good recruiter. So let me unpack this a little bit. All right, so let's start off talking about what the good recruiter is all about, because this is pretty simple and straightforward. The good recruiter is all about value. They're all about delivering value to the client, placing the right top tier talent at the company for the client. The client obviously has a particular need. The good recruiter wants to meet that need on an exact basis because they know that there's so much more to the relationship than simply a transaction. It's a long-term business and it's a long play rather than a short paycheck. The next important thing about the good recruiter is that they are an awesome communicator. It's really, really important to be able to have the gift of gab when you're talking to C-suite individuals as clients or recent graduate applicants. Anywhere in between, you really, really need to know how to talk to people on the right level, say the right things at the right time, in the right way. Communication is basically critical and key in recruiting and staffing. The other thing about a really good recruiter is that they're extremely transparent. So they're not going to hide anything from a client, and they're not going to hide anything from a candidate either. So they're not going to oversell a job by, giving them a wild salary range to a candidate, and they're not going to also BS the client by giving them, an embellished resume with things the candidate hasn't done or doesn't know how to do or anything like that. Mainly the good recruiter is in it for the right reasons. Yeah, I get it. We're all here to make six figures and get those huge paychecks after placements. I get that, and that's totally fine. However, here's where the good recruiter gets it right. They already know there's a fee coming for them when they make their placement, so that's not their focus. Their focus is more on delivering actual value to the client. Another way of putting this is that the good recruiter focuses on the micro, not the macro. Because if they win on the micro level with their client, delivering good value, good candidates, and securing good business, they know that on the macro level, they're going to have a really long-term good relationship with that client and get referrals and repeat business and have a long-term relationship that's much more profitable than having a simple micro win right away and then no future wins long-term. All right, I think that's enough about good recruiters. Let's just talk about the downright nasty bad recruiters, okay? Simply put, the bad recruiter is generally focused on money. They're focused on the fee behind the placement they're gonna make and solely that fee that they're gonna make. Now, like I said before, there's nothing wrong with being focused on the money and being shrewd about how you do business in order to get the best fee and make the most money. That's totally fine. However, the bad recruiter does this in a way that negatively impacts every single party involved, including the client, the candidate, and ultimately themselves. So by focusing strictly on the fee and the money they're going to earn from their placement, they're negating so many primal rules of recruiting. Number one, they're working with just about anybody that comes their way as far as clients go. And I've spoken before about choose your clients, don't let your clients choose you, because ultimately at the end of the day, you could end up with a boatload of really, really bad clients that either treat you terribly or pay late or don't pay at all or anything like that. And you don't want to work with bad clients. So bad recruiters are taking on bad clients, and that's just super bad business. Naturally, if they're taking any old client on, they're going to be sending them any old candidate on. They're sending them pretty much trash people that are underqualified, people that are not vetted properly or interviewed or sourced properly at all. Basically just to fill up the client's pipeline with people that they can interview and make it look like it's actually them doing a good job sourcing and interviewing and recruiting for them. In all reality though, this is just a huge facade. They're not actually sourcing or recruiting or vetting these people properly. They're simply finding people with maybe the job title that they want, maybe some of the requirements that they need, and just sending them over in bulk just so they look good, just so that they can get the client to interview these people, maybe hire someone, maybe get a fee out of it. Now check it out. On the micro level, the bad recruiter might actually get some wins out of this, but it's going to be nowhere near close what the good recruiter is getting on the micro level as far as wins, and definitely not on the macro level. On the macro level, the bad recruiter is setting themselves up for complete failure. All the clients that they're working with are not going to do repeat business with them. They can definitely forget about referrals. And on the macro, it's just not good business for the bad recruiter at all. Ultimately, the bad recruiter just sees the short game. The good recruiter sees the long game. Good recruiters will make tons of money, start their own agencies, do pretty much whatever they want. Bad recruiters are going to end up working for somebody else recruiting or going back to a 9-to-5 job. At the end of the day, it's all about perspective. The bad recruiter is coming from a mindset of scarcity, and so they play the short game, and they usually always lose that game. The good recruiter is thinking in a mindset of abundance, therefore they are successful, they're thinking big, they're thinking large and long term. That's why they're going to make tons more money and be able to do whatever they want in the future. They're simply playing the macro game and not the micro game. Being a good recruiter is not something that's difficult. It just simply starts with having a really good attitude, perspective, and mindset. If you can calibrate those things at the beginning from the start, you're not ever going to fall into the trap of being a bad recruiter. You're always going to hold yourself to a certain standard, and you're always going to win if you continue those practices. All right, guys, so if that was insightful for you, go ahead and smash that like button if you would, please. I would truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed already, I would definitely ask you to hit the subscribe and the alert button so you know every time I put out a video. And I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. Until then.